George Rose, Issac, Hardman, Kazuki, Kyohara. Thoughts on this fight?
Look, I think it's a great chance for Issac to put his name back out there. Let everyone know that he's the man to be feared again, because you come off a couple of losses and everybody sort of changes their opinion of you. So I think it's great to see the energy that Isac's bringing at the moment, and put him in against a tough opponent who's going to test him and make him really have to work for it. And I think we're in for a great night.
He's a heavy favourite, Issac. Do you think there's a chance he may overlook Kazuki?
I don't think he'll overlook him. He's definitely not overlooking him. I know he's put in a lot of great preparation for this. Him and his team have really worked hard in getting ready for this one. And the thing is with Japanese fighters is that you never know what you're going to get. They're very tough fighters. They're very, very skilled fighters, and they fight tough guys from their first fight. There's from their debut, they're always in with tough fighters. So you look at his record: 6 wins, 3 draws. All 9 of those fights were very tough fights. So, you can never trust the record coming out of Japan. So this guy will prove a tough opponent, and all Japanese fighters who travel to Australia always really make it tough for our guys. Even if we do get the win, there's always a little scare in there. But hopefully Issac lands first, and we don't have to worry about that.
Issac back at middleweight. He went up in weight to face Rowan Murdoch there in the Tszyu Harrison card. How do you look back on that fight? A bit of controversy there at the end.
Yeah, look, I think Rowan really controlled that fight really well, and obviously a much bigger guy, a very big guy. Rowan's a big super middleweight as it is, and so for Issac going up like that, really made for a tough fight. But I thought he held his own, and I thought if it went for another couple of rounds, I thought Issac was really finishing very strong. So, it was a good fight, a good opportunity, to test himself in the super middleweight division, and now it's time to come back to the middleweights where his power is really felt.
Big news last week, Tszyu is set to be elevated to the full champion. Mate, thoughts on that?
I think it's great. I think it's great for Tim. He's already defended that interim title. He won the interim title and then defended it again against 2 very credible opponents. In particularly the Tony Harrison fight. I thought that was a great one. That was one that we always wished that we could have had as our first defence in winning the world title. But obviously, things landed the way that they did, and we've since had those 2 great fights, 2 very memorable fights, and then now the next time that Tim fights, he'll be the WBO world champion.
What sort of doors open up now that he will be the full world champion? Who are sort of the names you expect to be hunting Tszyu?
Well, just the fact that Tim's name has been mentioned in everything since the Spence Crawford fight. He's the other guy that is a name in around the 154 division. So he's the guy. He really is. And outside of Charlo, he's the guy that's there that everyone wants a piece of. And you ask Tim who he wants absolutely everyone, anytime, any place. So he's, if we can get a few of them big fights over the line, I know a lot of the other guys don't fight as frequently as Tim, but that's not going to be a problem for him. He'll just slot in anything when he can get it and keep filling the gaps in between.
Is there a chance that if the WBC act and strip Charlo and Mendoza becomes full champion, that Tim could unify with Mendoza, perhaps?
I think that'd be a great fight. I think it'd be a really, really good fight. And after what Mendoza did to Fundora, his last 2 fights he wasn't meant to win, but he's really come out and give really solid performances. And for Fundora, one of the guys who's the most difficult person in the world to fight, for him to get that win the way that he did, man, he's an exciting fighter. So when you look across the division, and see who else is out there, he's one of them exciting fights that you'd love to see Tim in with.
Nikita Tszyu, Liam Wilson in a couple of weeks, and then what are you looking at schedule-wise in towards the back end of the year? Yeah,
look, I think the next thing is locking in Tim's fight, locking in a date for everyone to know when and where they can see Tszyu fight next, and we look forward to being able to announce that once it is locked in. You'll be the first one to know, of course, as always. And once we do get that locked in, look, we'll be able to plan everything else around that. So, we'd love to get some more of these No Limit on Fox shows on. They've been really fun. They've been really fun and keeping us regular boxing. So if we can keep them going again through to the back end of the year, it'll be really fun. And just lock out the rest of our schedule. But obviously, Tim's the one who holds up those dates. So once we lock in his date, everything else will fall into place around it.
Thanks, George.
Thank you.